Missouri Sports Network, MissouriSportsNetwork.com, where everyone has a home field advantage. Guy Newcomb, the scoreboard guy, alongside. And pleased to be joined now by former Chief, number 89, number one in your heart from the University of Texas, Keith Cash, and maybe the best golfer I've played with in the last 6 months. But the others were like Dana Hughes and Derek
Right,
Barnes.
right. I was about to say you have. First, I was going to say you haven't played a lot of golf. If I'm the best golfer you've played with. Secondly, Danon, I beat him often.
Outstanding. Well, I wanted to have an opportunity here, and I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time to talk a little bit about. This is 30 years, almost to the date, of the last time the Chiefs played a playoff game in Buffalo. And not many people know this, but both of us were there. Talk, talk about your experience going back to 1994.
Yeah, so I remember that game vividly. We had a nice little run. I think we beat Pittsburgh Steelers to start off, and then we went to Houston. Uh, kind of a run that wasn't expected. I don't think we were one of the top teams, but we typical Marty ball. We played hard. We'd hit you in the mouth. We'd bloody you up a little bit, and then we'll see who wins at the end of the day. But it was a great experience. I mean, the I remember that game being so cold. As you could probably attest to, you were up in the stands. At least I was running around. But coldest game, or one of the coldest games I've ever played in. But man, it's a tough place to play. It's a tough place to win. Uh, Similar to Arrowhead in that respect.
And I've heard a lot of those comparisons. That Arrowhead may be, the loudest stadium, to play in. But Buffalo, along with maybe Seattle, Buffalo's right there. But then you add in the elements that you get in Kansas City and Buffalo, and that adds another portion.
It really does. I think that, going through what we went through last week is going to pay dividends for us. Of course, the Buffalo fans are fantastic. They're one of the best fan bases in the country, but it's a very evenly matched game. I know a lot of people have said that they are almost afraid to play Buffalo, but I welcome the challenge. I mean, to see Patrick go out there and perform in a situation that he's never had to perform in, a playoff game on the road. I look for him to play well, our defense to play well. Their defense is pretty beat up. Lost a couple of players this past game. They're actually, playing their third string player in some positions. So I like the matchup this week. We're going to have to prevent Allen from being Superman. Hopefully, Sneed and some of those guys are his kryptonite, and we play a great game. I do expect us to come out with a victory.
And before we talk a little bit more about that, going back to that game on January 21st, January 23rd, 1994, do you know who the leading receiver for both teams were?
I think I might have been for us. Is that
You were
right?
you were for both teams.
Oh, really?
He caught 6 passes for 87 yards. Andre Reed had 49 yards receiving, but 6 passes. And then, of course, you mentioned that Houston game that time previous, and that was the famous Buddy Ryan football in the face game, I believe.
Right. Yes, that's right. That's right. I always tell people that I was angry in my youth. They that was a fun game to play in. Probably the thing that I get asked about the most is that spike against Buddy Ryan. And when someone threatens your quarterback, taking out your quarterback, we didn't take too kindly to that. So we had to put a whooping on them.
And in all fairness to the Chiefs, the weather related in comparison, that game, I looked it up, it was 22 degrees at game time and the wind chill was 9.
Okay.
So about 20 degrees warmer than it was against Miami the other night.
That's right. That's right. I think that they're going to have a little bit closer weather to what we played in '94 this weekend. So it's not going to be nearly as cold as it was in Kansas City last week.
As you look at just some of the records and things that Patrick Mahomes, number one, this will be his first playoff road game.
Yeah.
He's 12-3. He's already won 12. 12 playoff games. He's just one behind the likes of like Brett Favre, Ben Roethlisberger.
Wow.
I mean, guys that did that over a 20, 22, 25-year career. He's
Right.
not even 30 yet. It's amazing what he's done. Now, obviously, with Brady's got 35, career playoff wins. That number may be untouchable.
Yeah.
But he's got an opportunity this year, if he gets to the Super Bowl, to catch the likes of Joe Montana and Terry Bradshaw. How special is he?
He's arguably, after what, 6 years? Is this his 6th year?
6 years.
Arguably the most decorated quarterback over a 6-year period of time to ever play this game. I mean, you could look at Brady maybe in his prime, a 6-year period that you can probably, put right up there. But man, what he's been able to do without a defense for most of that time, or definitely not as strong as it has been this year, is nothing short of amazing. The guy has changed the game. You see a lot of quarterbacks trying to emulate some of the throws, the no looks, the back foot throws that he makes. He just is one of those quarterbacks that has the ability to lift those around him. So that's kind of, I'm at a loss for words for some of the stuff I've seen him do over the years, and especially this year with all the drops, all the problems he had that we had offensively. He just has been able to almost will his team in some situations into victories.
And comparing that 94 game with this 2024 game, with what the Bills were able to do, because 10 games into the season, they were down and out. And the Chiefs could have, put the foot on their throat and eliminated them from the playoffs. They got that win. They get into it. Well, as you look, as they switch over offensive coordinators, they've gone a lot more into the rush. And part of that's Josh Allen. But you look at that 1994 game, Chiefs gave up 229 yards rushing
Yeah, that's
in
great.
that game, and that was the difference. And that's what I'm afraid of. That's where my fear is maybe L'Jarius Sneed shuts them down. But what are those guys up front going to have to do to not give up that many rushing yards?
Well, I like the fact that we have some guys back. I mean, no question that our pass defense is ahead of our rush defense, but we have some good players. I think erases, Bolton rather, erases a lot of things that happen up front. He is a true throwback middle linebacker, put his nose on you. So I like the fact that he is back in the fold. I'm not sure he played that first game, did he?
I don't believe he did.
Yeah, so there's that. There's guys getting healthy. I like where we're at defensively, and I like you said, that is one of the keys to the game. Of course, they've been running a lot more, not just with Allen, but Cook has been like a different player with the new coordinator. So, I mean, we stack up very well against them defensively. I'm not. I think that the key is going to be our offense putting up some points against a defense that's pretty beat up right now.
How about the emergence of Rashid Rice? Did we see this midway through the season? I know we had the drops.
Yeah.
We had wide receivers actually almost handing the ball,
Sure.
defensive backs, throughout the season. Now you got Rice who's come in. What are your thoughts of there being a rookie?
Yeah, he's been a special rookie, and you've seen his growth throughout the year. He's one of those guys that dropped a lot of balls, but he always flashed big play potential. And if you look at over the last couple games, he's been more sure-handed, and his run after the catch ability. They're really getting him on the run quite a bit to where he doesn't have to stop and think about what he's going to do. He is already on the move, and I think that's the difference, and he's only going to get better. I mean, your freshman year, or your first rookie year, gosh, you're still trying to figure out where Patrick wants you. I saw a couple of situations last week that he actually ran his route and then moved into a position to where he just uncovered for Patrick, which he wasn't doing earlier in the year. So he is growing. I think this offense is coming into their own, as we've seen the last couple of weeks, or this last week, anyways. I just look for them to keep growing and keep getting better. I know that you want to be what you are when you get to the playoffs, but I still think that they have some room to growth because we still don't have a second receiver that has stepped up.
Look, you talk about rookies. I went back and watched that game on YouTube, and
Yeah.
another gentleman that is a friend of ours that we played golf with was a rookie in that game, Danon Hughes. And
Yes.
that
Yes.
very first punt, I don't know if you remember this, that first punt was a real short punt. He came running up and actually fielded like a baseball player on a short hop. And I've heard him tell stories about, had I blown that, I probably wouldn't even be doing Chiefs radio right now had I given that up. But this the pressures on a rookie going into that. Going back to your rookie year, I know you were drafted in the 7th round by the Redskins, but your rookie year, I believe, was with Pittsburgh.
Right.
Uh, what was it like that rookie year? Getting into those situations.
I had the chance to watch for a long time. I wasn't thrown into the fire like Danon was. I played with some very good players. I don't, but the fact that he was able to do that in a playoff game, a very veteran team. We had a lot of older guys on that team, and Damon came in as a rookie and played very well on special teams. I think he threw a couple passes that were completed. He was an all around good player, but gosh, to put that kind of pressure on a rookie, kind of like we are. We're doing the same things. We have some guys that are playing big minutes that are younger guys, some guys that are second year players again that that are stepping in and stepping up and showing up and showing out. So, um, man, it. I think back to my rookie year, and I'm not sure how good I was. I know that I tried really hard, and I think that's what a lot of our guys are doing. We need some of them to grow up and take that next step. You've played 16 game, which is probably 1.5 college seasons. We need some of these guys to step up and show up and show out, as a Sean Barber would say.
Well, I think it's unlike that '94 campaign. I think you got to keep Patrick Mahomes healthy because Dave Craig threw 30 passes in the second half of that game
Yeah, that's just
in,
crazy,
in
crazy.
Buffalo. But
Yeah, that's another key. We got to get that running game cranked up. We don't want Patrick running around too much, and we don't want him on the ground too much. So I think mixing in that run, little play action, I think they'll be just fine.
you bet. Well, Keith, as always, I greatly appreciate you being generous with your time. I look forward to next summer when we can hook up and play a little more golf and crack on Dane in a little bit. But
A-
I appreciate it.
Absolutely, I'm willing to do that anytime.
All right.
Thanks,
Well,
guy.
Chiefs Ambassador Keith Cash here on the Missouri Sports Network back after this.